Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope you guys are doing well. I hope you guys are staying safe, staying at home. So in my last video I did an introduction to investing in treasury bills, and then so today I am doing investing in treasury bonds. So what treasury bonds are, what you need to know when investing in treasury bonds, how you can benefit, the advantages of investing in treasury bonds. So welcome. So treasury bonds are investments in government securities in exchange for money from the public. So you say you're an individual, you're a company or corporation, and you have some funds, you can decide to invest in treasury bonds. Treasury bonds, the difference between treasury bonds and treasury bills is that treasury bonds are long term. These are investments for more than 1 year. So the investments for more than 1 year. You remember in treasury bills we said that these are investments for less than a year. Treasury bonds are investments for more than 1 year. In the Tanzanian context, there are treasury bills of 2 years, the treasury bills of 5 years, the treasury bills of 7 years, the treasury bills of 10 years, 15 years, and 20 years. So you can invest with the government for up to 20 years. What happens in the treasury bonds? These are auction. They are sold through an auction. The central bank. So the Bank of Tanzania would hold auction bi-weekly, which means in most cases it would be a Wednesday. It will be on a Wednesday every 2 weeks. So let's say we have a treasury bond auction this Wednesday, next Wednesday will be a treasury bill auction, and then the other Wednesday will be a treasury bond auction. So in the primary market, that is the issuance for the first time. They'll issue them through an auction, and then after that you can buy or sell treasury bonds in the secondary market. So you might have your bond, you've bought it, you might decide you want to sell it, and you can do this because there's a secondary market for trading of bonds. So what's the advantage of buying treasury bonds? The first advantage is that they're relatively risk-free. You are guaranteed that after a particular number of years, you're going to get your money back with the interest. So they're relatively risk-free. That means you can invest in treasury bonds and expect that you will get your money back. Another advantage of treasury bonds is that you can use treasury bonds as a collateral. The same way, maybe you have a house and you want loan from your bank. You go and you say, okay, fine, and of course they'll prove that this is your house and whatnot, and then they can give you a loan. The same way you can use the house as a collateral is the same way you can use a treasury bond as a collateral. So you have a treasury bond, you can go to a bank and you need a loan, they can use that as a collateral for your loan. And another advantage is that, as I said earlier, you can sell your treasury bonds. That means they're transferable. You say you've bought your 10-year bond, after 15 years or after 5 years, you really need money, you can go to the secondary market and you can sell it. So they can be transferred. You can sell it or you can buy even in the secondary market. The return in treasury bonds is usually competitive. That is, they usually have good rates of return. Even at, like right now, in the Tanzanian context, let's say the 20-year bond, so many people are demanding for it because it has a good rate of return. Right now, the return is about 15 point something. You can get a yield of about 15.8, I think. So you can think, okay, what can I invest in that can guarantee? Because the key issue here is that guarantee. What can I invest in that can guarantee me this 15? And you might find maybe you have few investment options or whatnot. So usually, if you have your money sitting in the bank, or you have your money and you're sure that, okay, these are funds I might not need, or I have all my other investments, then you should definitely consider putting some of your money in treasury bonds. And another advantage of treasury bonds from 5 years upward, so 5, 7, 10, 15, and 20 years, you're not charged with holding tax on the interest. The 2-year bond, for every interest earned, you'll have to pay, you are charged a withholding tax, but from 5 years to 20 years, you will not be charged withholding tax. I think this is a way of the government enticing people to invest in bonds. So there's no withholding tax on treasury bonds from 5 years and beyond. So you can ask, what do I need to do to invest in treasury bonds? You need to go to your bank, you need to go to your stockbroker. If you've never invested in a treasury bond before, you need to have a CDS account. To open a CDS account, they usually ask you for the usual KYC document requirements, say ID, passport, whatever, the usual ones. And after you get your CDS account, you can participate. Treasury bonds are usually held fortnightly, so once every 2 weeks, most of the time on a Wednesday, and it is competitive. That means that because it's competitive, it is through an auction process. So everyone will list the price that they want to buy the bond for, and then the BOT will look at how many offers they have received, and based on the amount of money they wanted, then they will allocate some to the winning bids. If you've won a bid, you have to transfer the money to the Bank of Tanzania the next day, because settlement is T+1. So usually you'd have to have made the arrangements. You have to make sure that you have the money, you've made the arrangement with your broker or your bank, and you made the arrangements so that if you win, settlement can take place immediately. Should you win and fail to settle, you will get a penalty. I think you cannot participate in buying government securities for a month. It's either a month or 2 months. How do they operate? I think I need to give an example. Let's say I'm an investor and I want to buy a treasury bond. I'll go to my broker and I'll tell my broker, okay, fine. The broker will also advise me based on the market, the trend of the market. And let's say I have 10 million. I go to my broker or my bank and they'll tell me, fine, the Bank of Tanzania usually has a calendar. So depending on what auction you want to participate in, you probably have to wait maybe for 2 weeks or 1 month or whatever, because they'll say there'll be a bid for this tenor is years on this particular date. So you might have to wait for a few weeks or a few days depending on when the next auction is going to be. During an auction, the Bank of Tanzania tells you that the face value is 100, so you'll probably give them something less, probably like maybe 90 shillings. So for every 90 shillings that you lend, on maturity you'll receive 100. With treasury bonds, there is an interest rate, there's a coupon. So coupon you'll receive every 6 months. The government has already set aside the coupon rates for the existing bonds. I'll keep a schedule here, but I know for like 15 years, you'll earn 13.5% per annum. Or for 10 years, I think it's 11.4%. So I'll put a table here of the coupon rates of treasury bonds in Tanzania. And so apart from the coupon, you'll also get the difference. You've offered maybe 90 shillings, but on maturity, you're getting 100. That 8 shillings is also your interest. So let's say in the end, you'll know that I've purchased a treasury bond maybe for 5 years and my rate is probably, let's say as an example, let's say 10%. So 10%, I'll be getting that. 10% of 10 million is about 1 million. Divided by 2, that is 500,000. So every 6 months, I'll be getting 500,000. And then on maturity, I'll get my money. But remember, because this is a simplified version, remember, I gave them something less. I didn't give them 10 million, probably I gave them 9 million because treasury bonds are offered at a discount. So you probably give them 9 million and then on maturity you get 10 million. But this coupon is calculated on the 10 million you're receiving, which brings about the interest of about 10%. So that's how they operate. In case you bought a treasury bond for 2 years, you get charged interest. Remember, I was saying that I'm getting an interest of 500,000 every 6 months. If I'd bought a 2-year bond, I'd have to subtract 10% of 500,000, which would be 50,000. The rest is kept directly into your account. And then on maturity, after those, whether it's 2 or 5 years, you get your money back. But if I've purchased, say, from 5 years to 20 years, there's no charge, there's no withholding tax, and then I'll get coupon every 6 months, and then on maturity I'll get my money back. Currently I think the highest yield is the 20-year bond. Right now you can get about 15 I think 0.8%. So if you had like 10 million, it means that every year you can get at least 15. If you had 10 million, you get at least 1.5 million. So divide by 2, around 750,000 every 6 months, and then after 20 years you get your money back. The good thing of investing in treasury bonds is that you're guaranteed. You do your work, you do what, but you're sure that after every 6 months I'm getting this money in my account. So that's the good thing. And you can sell it. You might buy a 20-year bond, after 5 years you want to sell it, then you can sell it. So would I recommend you investing in treasury bonds? If you have some excess money, you don't know what to do with it, or you can decide to put some of your money in treasury bonds. And especially for older people, if you are approaching retirement, this is not the time to take risks. You might want to put some of your money in treasury bonds because you're sure that, okay, fine, maybe you don't have the energy to do as much work, but you are sure that, fine, this amount of money I'm going to get every 6 months, and you can retire safely and happily. So yeah, let me know, guys, if you have any questions, if you've invested in treasury bonds, what have your experiences been so far, and yeah, let's all learn from each other. If you don't forget to like this video. If you've not subscribed to my channel, please subscribe. I will see you next time. Bye.